I've had a baby about 6 days ago, so I haven't slept for 6 days, so I'm a bit wired, so I don't know anything that's been going on in the news, so excuse me. Has Gaddafi been found yet?
No.
Good evening. Welcome to Have I Got News For You? I'm Lee Mack. In the news this week, as his ex-wife's revelations appear in the tabloid press, Jeremy Clarkson happens to spot Max Clifford in the street. As he arrives late from his hotel for the Euro summer, Nicolas Sarkozy explains how he got trapped in the folding bed. And in London, there are rumours that Kate Middleton has signed a multi-million-pound sponsorship deal with Pringles. On Ian's team tonight is an award-winning journalist and broadcaster who, in 2009, visited a drug and prostitution rehabilitation centre in Walsall. I think she was there to do an interview anyway. Please welcome Victoria Derbyshire. And with Paul tonight is a comic who says his career has always been guided more by how much fun he's having than anything else. Tonight, we can only assume he's here for the pay packet. Please welcome Ross Noble. And we start with the biggest stories of the week. Ian and Victoria, take a look at this.
Angela Merkel and her busy mate, Nicola. Oh, there's Silvio, in between court appearances.
With a man?
Yeah, David Cameron. He's got to go because he's not in the Euro gang, is he?
Is he being lynched? Well, someone singing Britannia Rules the Waves and burning an EU flag. I expect that to clinch the argument.
This is the big emergency crisis summit in Brussels, where all the EU leaders are certain that they want an end to the uncertainty. They're just not certain how to do it.
So they've agreed what?
They said, we agree that we really, really, really need to do something about this crisis.
Oh, I'm relieved, then.
I mean, 17 different Eurozone nations can't even agree on what time of day they should all eat cheese. So it's taken 2 years. No wonder it's taken 2 years to get to this point.
Because Sarkozy made a cheap joke about Mrs Merkel, which I gather set back the euro about 6 months. He said she's on a diet, but I saw her eating cheese twice.
Yes.
Each one of those cheeses represents a world war.
Well, she brought up the war.
Yes.
She said, unless we solve this, there's going to be another war. And I thought, well, not necessarily.
Where does the Primula cheese spread fit into this? I mean, I don't claim to be the most political man, but how does the...
you know your cheeses?
I know my cheeses.
Knows his cheeses.
Oh, I tell you what, yeah. Where does that fit into the whole...
Is that a top British cheese?
The Primula cheese spread? It's like toothpaste in a cheese form. Yeah. It's magnificent. Yeah. Put it on a toothbrush and then, yeah, floss with the wax from a baby bell. Yeah. Sorry, I thought this was Have I Got Cheese For You?
You refer to me as Dairy Lee Mack.
OK.
So, that's not a gag, I'm just sponsored now. So, it's the imminent collapse of the euro, but why is it different this time?
Because it's serious this time. All the other times it wasn't, apparently. We accept that Greece is going to go bust, everyone's taken that on board, but now it's Italy as well.
It's
and
Italy
people
as
have
well,
said,
yeah.
You know, most people have thought, gosh, Italy, that's a stable country run by a sensible fellow. That can't possibly be going down the tubes. But actually, apparently, he spent over €1 trillion on prostitutes. No, I've made that up.
What's the bailout, though? How much is the bailout this time, do you know?
For Italy, what is it, 1-point-something trillion? 1.9 trillion?
That's their debt, I think.
Is that their debt?
The bailout fund is now... It's gone up from 400 billion euros to €1 trillion.
It's actually hard to tell, because according to the Mail on Wednesday, it's
The Mail on Wednesday?
Mail on Wednesday. I should have paused after Mail, shouldn't I? According to the Mail, on Wednesday, It's a £1 trillion bailout, but if you believe the Express, on Tuesday, it's a £2 trillion bailout.
But they don't even know where this money's coming from. Apparently, having had the summit, they said, we've got this fantastic plan, we'll have all this money, and we'll borrow it from the Chinese.
Yeah.
But they haven't asked.
And also, the Chinese, what do they know about cheese?
They hate cheese.
They hate
Like
cheese.
it.
It's not in
I think
their
it's horrible.
diet. And it doesn't matter. The thing is, if Greece goes, it doesn't matter, because who likes feta?
Does anyone know what £1 trillion actually is? What is £1 trillion?
Is it 1,000 billion?
A trillion's when a human mates with a Klingon.
So you've met the wife?
Oh, yes.
How has David Cameron been referring to the latest plans to fix the euro?
President Sarkozy shouted at him on Sunday, apparently, and said, we are sick of you... No, that's Italian, isn't it? What's the French accent? What's the French...
Yeah,
we are sick of you. We are sick of you criticising... And it's still Nancy Delaney.
It's great, though. Just keep going.
OK, we are sick of you criticising us. You hate the euro, and yet you still want to interfere in our meeting.
We are not interested in your cathedral city.
What Nicola is alleged to have shouted at Dave is, you don't like the euro, why do you want to be at our meetings? You've lost a good opportunity to shut up. We're sick of you criticising us and telling us what to do. Let's have a look at what happened when Sarkozy and Merkel were asked this week if they had persuaded Berlusconi to do something about Italy's debts.
President Sarkozy and Chancellor Merkel were asked if they thought he'd listened. A look said it all.
Can't even be bothered to tell the lie, can they?
But under pressure, Italy may be about to agree drastic measures to help save the euro. Anyone know what it is?
Raise the pension age, cut
Correct.
wages, lay off thousands and thousands of people.
There was a fight, though, wasn't there, in the
There was
Italian
actual
Parliament?
yeah.
This is how politics works.
One of them said something about the other one's wife, apparently. It wasn't even a political debate. It's not like your wife's a slag, and it all kicked off. And that's what we need in this country. Not slaggy wives. Fighting.
Why is John Bishop in the middle?
And why is Spike Milligan helping from behind? Look.
Meanwhile, back at home, Cameron was tackling a backbench rebellion over a referendum on EU membership earlier this week. How many Tory MPs rebelled?
81 voted against and 30-odd more abstained.
Yeah, although, according to the Times, 2 Tory MPs voted both ways.
It's a hard habit to break, isn't it?
How does that happen? I genuinely... How do you actually vote in the House of Commons?
It's late at night, you go through one door, you come out again, you go through the other one. It's confusing.
And if that happens, does it mean it's going to rain?
Does anyone remember the advice Mrs Thatcher was given when she was facing a backbench rebellion?
Yes, it was keep smiling and pretend you like the...
Yeah.
Oh, say it again.
I don't want to, because my mum might be watching.
I don't care, this is saving me £1.50 a minute on phone calls.
You're not like this on the radio, are you?
I wouldn't say that on the
Here's some
radio.
travel, you fuckers.
Yeah, so Chief Whip told her, you've got to start smiling at the fuckers and pretend you like them. She didn't bother. One of the rebels was Jacob Rees-Mogg MP. Let's have a look.
He's a young Tory whose father is William Rees-Mogg, who's a famous newspaper columnist. But Jacob is very, very odd.
Is he crackers?
No. He
For
took
Jacob Crackers, it deserved more.
And he took his nanny campaigning, which is new in British politics. I think David Cameron finds him hugely embarrassing.
When you say he took his nanny, what, you mean door to door?
Yeah. He said, would you like to vote Conservative? Have you met my nanny? And she said, vote Conservative.
This is what he said. It is for us backbenchers to say to the government, stiffen your sinews, summon up the blood and imitate the action of a tiger. That is how we should behave towards our European partners, not like Bagpuss. And did we see how Newsnight dealt with this?
When you were speaking last night, you talked about... You invoked the spirit of Henry V, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Stiffen the sinews.
Summon up the blood.
Be like a tiger.
Absolutely.
As opposed to being like Bagpuss.
That's absolutely right.
Bagpuss in this rhetorical flight.
I'm flattered that you've listened to my speeches so carefully. There's an admirable trend. What the Prime Minister needs is... what the Prime Minister needs is to be able to say, look, I've got to get powers back because my backbenchers want it.
So we actually... David Cameron who's back?
No, certainly not. We strengthen the Prime Minister's position and help him to have the courage of a tiger when he's negotiating with the Lib Dems.
Otherwise, left to his own devices, he'd be bankrupt.
That's brilliant. From now on, every time there's a problem in politics, he should emerge, bring out the mice and...
We will fix it.
And, of course, Nick Clegg, he's not been helping David Cameron this week, has he?
No.
You actually interviewed Nick Clegg, didn't you, shortly after he was elected as Lib Dem leader?
I did. That was a few years ago now, but yeah, I did.
Nice guy?
He was fine.
I
can't, you know, as a BBC journalist, I'm...
You're not being impartial?
I'm paid not to have opinions.
Really? Welcome to the show.
And so we sent our reporter Paul Greer out to see how much the name of Nick Clegg has seeped into the public's consciousness.
I think I'll accost those folks at the bus stop to see if they recognise our man.
Yes, I think I do.
Go on then.
Is it Steve?
Steve who?
I worked for him.
It's not Steve.
Oh, I love that. Yes, this is the European crisis. According to The Sun, there are claims that Berlusconi needs another 220 billion just to keep up with the interest on massive debts. Still, that's what happens when you take out a small loan with the Corleone family. Should Berlusconi step down at the end of the year, his likely successor will be the leader of the Northern League Party, Umberto Bossi. So soon, Italy's Prime Minister will be Bossi as opposed to Randy. Last week, Nicolas Sarkozy had a beautiful little girl called Julia, as coincidentally did Berlusconi, but that's a different story. Paul and Ross, take a look at this.
Right, yes.
pensioners.
Queen and Prince Philip in Australia, I think that's where they are as we speak.
Given a stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, this boomerang is crap. It's just a stick. You're having me on.
That's an enclosure with poor people in it.
Yeah.
Take those. They're horrible.
Yeah, this is the Queen and Prince Philip going around Australia, and they're being greeted by crowds wherever they go.
And they rode on a tram.
Tram, did they? Was that in Melbourne?
Yeah, the St Kilda tram, which, funnily enough, is the very tram that went past the hospital where Lee Mack used to work as a bogus official.
Let's not talk about that.
Yes.
What? Look, it was I used to book people in for appointments. I wasn't a gynaecologist or anything.
Yeah, well, you were an enthusiastic amateur. Go on, I'll have a look. I mean, I can't do anything about it. I was a backpacker and I blagged my way into a hospital job booking people in for appointments.
But you weren't actually being a fake doctor?
No, but I sort of might have exaggerated my qualifications to get the job. As the world descends into chaos, what's been the big noise down under, according to the Daily Mail?
Oh, this would be about the Australian Prime Minister not curtsying, I think. Is that the idea?
Gillard, Julia Gillard. She said, "It's just not me."
What else did she do wrong as well as not curtsy? It's something to do with her attire.
She rolled a tyre at the Queen. She put a tyre on a swing, and as the Queen approached, she went... And the Queen went, "Go on, curtsy." And she went, "I can't, love. I'm in a bloody tyre."
That's not quite it.
Yes. She didn't have a hat on. She was.
That is it.
Yes, she didn't have a hat on.
What did Buckingham Palace say about this huge slight to the British monarch?
We didn't notice. People can dress the Queen however they like. We don't mind.
Yeah, they said there's no obligatory code of behaviour, just curtsy. Sorry. I said that wrong. Actually, that would have been better, wouldn't it? There's no obligatory code of behaviour, just curtsy. They also said the person who is least concerned about protocol is the Queen. So why do we do it? I say we. I've never met her, but... No. You met the Queen? Anyone met the Queen?
No.
No one met the Queen? Anyone in the audience met the Queen?
I once saw Brian May out of a bus.
Did you see the Queen meet one of the bullying bloomers this week? They're a top Australian basketball team. Yeah. The Queen met Elizabeth Cambridge.
Who's very tall.
Let's have a look at this. The Queen's the one on the left, in case you're wondering.
You feel she could quite literally just pop the Queen through the hoop?
What did the Queen say when she saw this very tall lady?
Have you come far?
Has it started raining yet?
Oh, marvellous. No, she said, you're very tall. And then followed it with, you must be a basketball player.
Brilliant.
After meeting the basketball player, the Queen was a little bit self-conscious about her height, so Prince Philip tried to help her feel better. At an official banquet in Australia, Prince Philip was reminded of what he said when he was introduced to Kate Blanchett as someone who worked in movies. He said, "Oh, good. Can you fix our DVD player?" Why do we feel sorry for the Queen this week?
Oh, heating bills, is it?
Yeah.
She's almost in fuel poverty.
She's spending a whole lot of money heating Buckingham Palace. She's one of those people that report was about.
Yeah.
Older couples who are living in big buildings with
That's
no
right.
children.
But he's flogging it off, isn't he, old Charles?
Is he?
He said, I'm not going to live in Buckingham Palace when I'm king.
Ah.
You know, which could be because he's not going to be.
Does anyone know what he's going to do with it when he sold it?
A hotel?
Yes, he's going to turn it into a hotel. That's according to Andrew Marr's new book.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he keeps his ear to the ground.
Is Prince Charles going to be the hotel manager? You going to sort of like,
That would be great.
would you like a mini bar replenished?
And Camilla's going to serve breakfast. Here we are, love.
Apparently Charles will probably take with him a number of highly specialised servants to this hotel. What is one of them particularly good at?
Is that the chap who squeezes the toothpaste?
Or does he come and give you the naughty movies on the TV?
Such an image of your life.
Spend a lot of time on the road, you know. The amount of times I've had to summon up a butler.
Is that some sort of slang?
Don't even.
According to a new book on the history of Buckingham Palace, Charles has a valet whose duties include ironing the prince's shoelaces whenever his shoes are taken off. According to the same book, what is so special about the white drawing room at Buckingham Palace?
It's black.
The actual answer is that it's yellow, but also it has a full-length mirror in one corner. And during functions, a footman is stationed beside it, and at a signal, he presses a button, and the entire fitment swings open to reveal the royal family who have been waiting in the royal closet.
Well, hang on. Well, they literally just waiting there, and everyone's having their starter, and Marge is in there going,
Not yet. Wait.
I'm desperate for a piss.
Not yet.
Ta-da! It's literally...
Do we believe any of this book?
No.
This is the royal visit down under. Andrew Marr has a new book out called The Diamond Queen, although the working title was Andrew Marr's Cynical Diamond Jubilee Cash-In Book. Still, should cover some of the legal fees for that super injunction. For round two, we're introducing a brand new technical innovation to the show, the Large Hadron Collider of News. In this round, we fire high-speed news particles at each other and analyse the results. Buzz in when you know what the story is.
That is the tent city that nobody's in. They've set up their tents outside the cathedral there, and they used thermal imaging devices.
And none of them are wearing thermals.
Yeah. It was a hell of a sight.
Yeah. And some bloke's left, some cannon's been fired or whatever.
He's resigned because he was the one who invited them to stay originally.
Yes.
Because he thought it might be a good idea, these people protesting about poverty. And anyway, he was overruled. The Dean came in and said, well, yes, obviously we want to help the poor, but the gift shop's losing a lot of money. And the visitors there, so they closed the cathedral on the grounds of health and safety. They said the guy ropes of the tent might trip over visitors and there could be a rodent problem.
And they go, never mind that. That bloke's been nailed to a bit of wood. Never mind the guy ropes. Look at him up the top there. Well, I've offered me services. I'm going to grow a beard, go down, dress in a loincloth, walk out in a crown of thorns and go, oi, off. Just so the cannon can go, I told you I'd get me supervisor.
One newspaper said we've had thermal imaging and there's no one in the tents, and another one said, actually, you can't tell that. They may well be there.
What,
So-
they're just very, very cold? They've actually died inside. All this wasting their time with thermal imaging and getting the equipment, just a spike. That's all you need. That's one. No, nothing there.
We've actually got a thermal image still from the Daily Mail. Apparently, that reveals the green object in the foreground is a bin. Does anyone know what's the camp slogan?
Oh.
All day, all week, we'll sleep on London's freezing streets. Solidarity! Unless it gets a bit nippy and we've run out of pants. Natasha Ighodaro and Nicholas Cunningham got married at St Paul's on Saturday. The protesters promised to keep quiet after 1 o'clock. By 1:30, according to the Sunday Times, the protesters were ranting over the loudspeakers. One was a member of the Sex Workers Open University who yelled, "There are no bad whores, just bad laws." Well, let me tell you, that is not true. Yes. Have we covered all those questions? We have?
You've got a couple more.
Oh, have I? Sorry. I've got a question over here. I didn't move the card. It's here. OK, next question. How did I get this gig? Anyone? Do you know there's a clown protesting? Here he is. It'd be great if he just was genuinely a really bad undercover cop. Does anyone know what he's called?
PC Coco.
Not so much enthusiasm in your voice, please, Ross. Oh, PC Coco, if I have to. You'll never guess it. I don't know why I'm asking.
OK, try us.
Barry Daft. Anybody know his real name?
William Daft.
His real name, Andrew. Thank God we got to the comedy gold of the clown. So... Countering claims that they are spoiling the square at St Paul's, one 18-year-old protester, who gave his name as Sean, told the Telegraph, "We are abiding by hygiene standards." In that case, Sean, you're one of the few teenage boys in the country who is. Critics are concerned that the protest is having an adverse effect on the businesses of the immediate area. Try telling that to the manager of the local branch of Millets. Fingers on buzzers, teams.
There's a new perfume in Burton-on-Trent.
Yes, there is a new perfume in
I knew that.
Burton-on-Trent.
You see, I read the words Burton-on-Trent and saw some perfume.
Oh, yes, that was a bit of a giveaway, wasn't it? Do we know what's unusual about the perfume?
It smells of...
Burton-on-Trent City Centre.
You're not a million miles away by saying that. Its creator, Victoria Brooks, told the Telegraph, "Normally you make a perfume from smell, but we created Eau de Burton from the idea of the smells that make up the town." Adding, "Burton is known for its smell, but not always in a good way."
So what,
You're really selling it, Victoria.
so what, there's people in, like, going to the chemist and I just go, oh, get this new... a big issue seller and a Dixon's. That's lovely. Yeah. That's good, because that would attract blokes, wouldn't it? You splash that behind there and he just goes, "Oh, I fancy a new clock radio."
According to the Telegraph, the new perfume blends the subtle notes of Marmite, Branston pickle, beer and leather. If you want to know what that smells like, try standing downwind of these two. Isn't that your mum and dad, Ross?
Well, you should know you've shagged her. So... you started it.
And this is for women to wear.
For women to wear, yes. But I'm sure, you know, men can wear it as well.
I think any woman would fight to have the aroma of Branston pickle around her.
Yeah.
You actually wouldn't want to smell like your hometown, though, would you? Where are you from, Victoria?
I was born in Bury.
Oh, well, that's ruined that joke. It says on the card Ramsbottom.
Yeah, Ramsbottom's Bury, yeah.
Well,
Ramsbottom's...
you can't smell like Bury, but you can smell like a ram's bottom. Right, let's do it again, don't we? We'll edit it in. You wouldn't want to smell like your hometown, would you, Victoria? Where are you from?
Ramsbottom.
You lie, you're from Bury. What's the matter with her? You can't the BBC, can you? Fingers on buzzers, teams.
This is an incident in a photo me booth at Victoria Station.
Clarkson, has he lifted his injunction? That's the word I was looking for. That could have gone one or two ways. Is it Clarkson lifting his injunction, Lee?
You are, love?
Is it Clarkson lifting his injunction?
I've just had one, thank you.
Okay.
Now, before we go anywhere with this, can I just say that both sides deny everything the other one says about them? Said it? Can we move on?
He says he and his wife took out this injunction to stop his ex-wife from claiming that she'd had an affair with him after he'd remarried.
Yeah.
And now he has decided that he will lift the injunction so he can defend himself.
I think he's found that, like everyone else, they don't work. Originally, the super injunction was granted because there was a suggestion of blackmail. He says the former wife, the woman he was married to before, was blackmailing him. So he took out an injunction so no one could say anything, which essentially is a sort of not a really logical way of fighting it. If she's blackmailing you, prosecute her for blackmail and then put her in jail. It's almost the last of the big super injunctions that no one was allowed to talk about and no one was allowed to report.
But was it generally known?
Yeah.
Did you know it?
Yeah.
Did you know it?
Yeah. Well,
Did you know it?
Yeah, Ian told me.
Did you know it? Did you all know it? Nobody told me.
Thanks a lot. That means I'm technically in breach of the injunction. You better come and visit me.
Yeah, I will. Make it Wandsworth, that's near for me.
But originally everyone thought that it was Jeremy Clarkson and Jemima Khan who was falsely linked.
Well, no one thought that except people on Twitter, because they don't know.
Oh, OK. So you didn't think that?
No.
Ah, OK.
People thought it was about Jemima Khan.
It's like being in court here.
Yeah, get used to it, blabbermouth. According to Clarkson's people, whose honour did Clarkson's first wife initially say she wanted to defend?
The honour of the Stig, because she thought the Stig had been treated very badly.
What, and he can't talk?
Well, he's got a helmet under his head.
It's an actual man under the thing.
Thermal imaging has proved that.
Yeah.
He told The Independent, now I have no stress of an injunction, I can look Ian Hislop in the eye.
Oh, well, that's very nice.
Do you two often go off on, like, caravanning holidays? I can see you two hanging out quite a lot.
Last time he was
let's
on...
drive. All right, Jeremy.
It says this on the card, Ian, so I don't think I'm pushing you here, but it says, who else has got one out then, Ian? A super injunction.
JLV versus HXX. That's
Scrabble
a good one.
board?
Yeah.
What do you mean,
They get initialised, these
but
injunctions.
not by their initials of their names?
No.
Oh,
I
thought it was somebody Roman. It's a bit weird, isn't it? Some centurion has been having it off with a Big Brother contestant. They robbed wildly in the back of a chariot.
They're very long-lasting, these super injunctions.
Yeah, exactly.
That one's from AD 10.
No, but we couldn't broadcast it, you couldn't publish it in a newspaper. We could chat about it in the car.
Can you allude to it, though?
No. Can you say...
No.
Can you say...
You can say there was that actor that was with a thing in the... Oh, and don't, Mrs.
What, Jack Douglas from the Carry On films? Stop! Why, I haven't got in touch you! Why?
Yeah. There's the, you know, all I'm saying is there's the bloke from that thing that's on the, you know, and he with a, and she with a, ooh, blimey, not up there.
Could you say, I know about a footballer?
No,
Is that vague enough?
If it was an injunction, you could, but if it's a super
You can't even
injunction,
say, I know.
You can't say anything.
No, you can't say
Can you
anything.
say- can you say-
you can't even acknowledge that a super injunction even exists.
Well, then he's in trouble. Because he's just acknowledged one exists about, hey, gee, what? Hey, boy. He's going down.
Well, all I'll say is it certainly cured his hiccup.
Clarkson said that one reason for dropping his super injunction was the cost.
Hello. Oh, hi. I can't really talk now. I'm in the middle of a television recording. I'll ring you back.
Yeah.
So it's my lawyer.
Did it cure you?
I had a conversation with Paul Merton.
Yes.
6 months ago, but I didn't mention anything that could have been linked to any of those cases.
Absolutely.
Particularly not that one.
Absolutely.
But you told Ross, though.
No, Paul told me.
Oh,
so.
Paul told you. How did he find out?
Ian told me.
So, time now for the odd one out round. Ian and Victoria, your four are Alessio Restani, footage used in an ITV documentary about Gaddafi's links with the IRA, Vladimir Putin's discovery of 2 ancient Greek urns, and Greyfriars Bobby.
He's the trader who was interviewed on the BBC News channel and outraged everybody by saying the recession's great, you can make loads of money, bankers like me, just take, the recession's brilliant.
But and they said he was a fake, but he isn't.
That's right.
Well, that footage at the front of the Gaddafi film, they made a documentary and said, these are weapons used by... Was it the IRA?
The key thing is they took the imagery from a video game.
Yeah. Yes, and it was FIFA 2010. So now that's fake.
Yes.
Putin, I read this story, because Putin likes to be, you know, action man, and this was footage of him discovering 2 Greek urns. And then afterwards there were suggestions that the urns had been planted in the archaeological dig, so Putin could go, I have found the urns.
That was Darth Vader.
And the dog?
He was so faithful, Greyfriars Bobby, he always stayed on the gravestone of his owner, and it turned out this wasn't true. It was just a dog who hung around the graveyard hoping to be fed. So they're all frauds,
yes,
apart from the trader.
Is the right answer.
Well done, you.
Yes, they're all not what they were claimed to be, apart from Alessio Restani, who really was a trader, despite everyone assuming he was a hoax. Restani appeared on BBC News saying he goes to bed every night dreaming of another recession. His remarks were so extreme he was assumed to be a hoaxer. Should we take a look at him?
Personally, I've been dreaming of this moment for 3 years. I had a confession, which is I go to bed every night, I dream of another recession. I dream of another moment like this. This is not a time right now to wishful thinking the government is going to sort things out. The governments don't rule the world. Goldman Sachs rules the world.
A cheery thought, isn't it? And they don't even pay any tax. Or they don't pay enough tax.
Oh.
Lawyer.
Is he still hanging from up there?
Yeah.
Silly place you can get a reception to phone Ian. Putin went on a scuba diving trip into the Black Sea and claimed to have just discovered 2 ancient Greek urns. Putin was then reported to have declared with a big grin, "Treasure, the boys and I found them." The boys presumably referring to a team of professional archaeologists several years earlier. Ofcom has launched an inquiry after ITV mistakenly included a video game clip instead of real footage of its new current affairs show, Exposure. What was the clip meant to be showing?
A helicopter being shot down.
It's when it said game over.
It's when
it really twigged.
And the helicopter crashed and a fat Italian plumber danced out.
In other news, ITV are showing highlights of Wimbledon this year. They're all not what they claim to be, apart from Alessio Restani, who really was a trader, despite everyone assuming he was a hoax. Journalists suggested he was part of the team of political hoaxers called the Yes Men. But when asked, the Yes Men said no. Paul and Ross, here's yours. Richard Branson, Mario Balotelli, Hermann Göring and wannabe alchemist Paul Moran.
Bartelli was in the news last week for somebody set off some fireworks from the bathroom, I think, of his house.
Branson's house just burnt down, didn't it?
Oh, yes, that's true, yes. And who was the 4th bloke in the mask?
Wannabe alchemist Paul Moran.
Oh, well, it's got to be about fireworks. It wannabe alchemist. He's tried to sort of get gold from lead or something. So is it about fireworks? Is that the sort of general idea, and houses not burning down? Or
yes, you're on the right track. It's actually...
Göring.
Göring, yes. Why is it Göring?
Well, all their houses burnt down.
Yes.
And his didn't.
Wow. His didn't, and the producers of this show just randomly selected Göring as opposed to Barry Chuckle. They all have houses that caught fire, apart from Hermann Göring, who ordered the Luftwaffe not to drop incendiary bombs on a Kent seaside town because he wanted to live there after the war. Did you see Saltwood Castle?
I have seen it, yeah.
Yes, well, that's what he was interested in living in. The Hythe Herald was very excited, naturally. How did they cover it?
Hythe Hitler?
Oh, gosh.
They published this photo. That's with Goering looking out to sea, with the caption, Hermann Goring looks out across the channel, possibly fantasising about life in Saltwood. Police were called to the Manchester City striker Mario Balotelli's house last Saturday after a friend set off fireworks in the player's bathroom, causing a substantial fire.
Why in the bathroom?
Well, because the kitchen was busy. There was a bonfire in there.
Didn't he chuck his house keys at the police to say, if you need me, I'll be at the Radisson?
He did say that, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's charming, isn't it? Why has Balotelli also upset his mum this week?
She sent him out for a kettle, and he came back with a trampoline, 2 mopeds, and...
Scale Electric.
Scale Electric.
Yeah.
This is a true story, by the way.
See, every time I decide to answer a question properly, you're gonna look at me like... He went to the moon on a unicycle. There you go.
Mario's mum sent him out to buy the cleaner some essential items. As the Sun described, Mario was followed by a John Lewis lorry with a trampoline, a Scale Electrics, 2 Vespers and a table tennis set. Good luck cleaning with those. Wannabe alchemist Paul Moran. He's a man from Northern Ireland who was recently sentenced to 3 months in prison after he set his council house on fire trying to turn his own faeces into gold by heating it to a high temperature.
He hasn't read the alchemy books, has he? It's lead into gold, not turds.
Yeah, and also...
You're literally sitting on a gold mine, is that the idea?
He's a bloke from Ireland who turns shit into gold. Isn't that Westlife?
Branson's house in the Caribbean burnt down after being struck by lightning during a tropical storm.
And Kate Winslet was there, wasn't she?
Yeah.
She saved his mum.
That's right.
Richard told ITV News, Kate said it was like being on a film set where you're waiting for the words cut, but they just don't come. It was quite surreal for her to be in a real-life situation. Fleeing from a burning mansion on a private Caribbean island, carrying the elderly mother of a bearded multi-billionaire. That's a real-life situation I think we can all relate to. Richard Branson's house in the Caribbean burnt down after being struck by lightning. According to the Mail, when the main house was set on fire, Sir Richard was staying in another villa about 100 yards away, at the insistence of his guests. Time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication the newsletter of the Museum of Celebrity Leftovers. That's a museum devoted to leftover food, not to be confused with the celebrity leftovers you can see on the current series of Strictly Come Dancing. And we start with Ryanair shocks passengers by what?
Taking them to destination.
Passing electric current through seats in the second class.
Treating them like human beings.
Oh, it's the cockpit, with the tape. They taped up the cockpit window.
That is the right answer.
And then took off?
Yeah. Taping up pilot's window. Let's have a look at that. It's actually more worrying than it looks, because that's after takeoff. Next, Museum of Celebrity Leftovers was what?
Huge success. Disaster.
Middling.
Closed. Bombed.
Was it gutted when Eamon Holmes turned up?
Museum of Celebrity Leftovers was hateful.
Says Eamon Holmes.
This was a review of the museum by a visitor. Next, Jan Leeming's what up for the taking?
That's it. That's the actual sentence there. There's no actual missing word there.
15 empty gin bottles.
It's actually Jan Leeming's piece of ginger up for the taking. No. Jan Leeming is just one of the galaxy of stars whose leftovers feature in the Museum of Celebrity Leftovers. Craig Ritchie, the ex-BBC weatherman, left a pastry. He'd expected it to be warm, but it turned out to be cold. Did they get the Chuckle Brothers to write this week? Next, man banned from what? Avocados?
Buying any more avocados, growing them, inserting them.
Inserting them?
Yeah.
Shall I tell you?
Yep.
Owning more than 10.
What?
Yeah, a man has been banned from owning more than 10 avocados, or 5 avocado pairs. Right. This is an American thief in San Diego who was banned by a judge from owning more than 10 avocados after he admitted to stealing £1,000 of the fruit. The thief feared a prison sentence, but after 3 days of the avocado trial, the judge went soft on him. And finally, what leaves Sophie the giraffe with a spring in her step?
Terry Nutkins with a stepladder.
A scarf for Christmas. New foot. Yeah, it's got to be new foot, isn't it?
It's something to do with feet.
Yeah. Pedicure.
It is a pedicure.
Is it?
So the final scores are Ian and Victoria with 9 points, Paul and Ross with 7 points.
Oh, it's a win. Thank you very much indeed.
But before we go, there's just time for the caption competition. Ian and Victoria have this.
Have you met Mr. Clegg?
Doctor's haircut resembles a tunnel.
And a tiny man climbs out of his bum.
That's right.
Paul and Ross get this.
Come on, Gaddafi, we know you're in there. It's funny, if you whistle that end, you get a noise out the other.
On which note, we say thanks to our panellists Ian Hislop and Victoria Derbyshire, Paul Merton and Ross Noble, and I leave you with news that at a meeting of the G8 countries, there's a tense moment as Silvio Berlusconi prepares to address the Japanese Prime Minister. After running over the family rabbit with a hover mower, a quick-thinking father tries to hide the evidence before the kids rush out to see what the noise was. And in Borneo, as David Attenborough starts filming yet another documentary series, there are signs that the animals are getting used to the cameras. Good night.
I Got News For You is back next Friday at 9 on BBC One. Next tonight, Ask Rod Gilbert.